Today, I want to tell you about my first case as a detective of logic. It may seem small, insignificant perhaps, but from small clues, great mysteries are often broken wide open. Perhaps you remember the case of the dog that didn't bark. A small, seemingly insignificant clue led to the solution. The same can and does happen in the world of logic. This is the case of the 4 sentences, the scene, the movies. They were showing Bogey in the Maltese Falcon. It was Valentine's Day. I was watching a guy give his girl a box of chocolates big enough to cause trouble. Wow, I heard the girl, let's call her Sally, say, "Look at that huge box of chocolates. Have you ever seen one so large? It must be the biggest box ever." I could almost hear the boy, let's call him Timmy, blushing in the dark. Cute scene, right? Harmless, right? Utterly unremarkable. Nope. Not so fast. I am here to tell you, Sally is a linguistic genius. Who am I to say so? You know who I am. I carry a chart of valid Aristotelian categorical syllogisms in my coat pocket, along with a deep desire to analyze everything in my cerebrum. In short, I am a logician. So, like I was saying, Sally is a linguistic genius. You heard me correctly, folks. A genius. Not because she solved a math problem. Not because she found a cure for either the common cold or the less common case of lead poisoning. No, Sally is a genius because, in 4 short sentences, she ran the whole playbook of language without even breaking a sweat. And what she did matters in logic. What do I mean by the playbook of language? Well, let us review the evidence, and I will show you. Look at what she said. Look carefully. First, she said, "Wow." That's an exclamation. Then she said, "Look at that huge box of chocolates." Linguistically, that's a command, an imperative. Then she asked, "Have you ever seen one so large?" That's a question, or, as we call it in the logic business, an interrogative. Finally, she ended by saying, "It must be the biggest box ever." And that sentence, my friends, is very interesting. It's not an exclamation, nor is it an imperative or an interrogative. It's a statement. What are statements? A statement is a declarative sentence making a claim about the world. Now, I want you to admire Sally again. In 4 moves, she gave us 4 different uses of language, and she didn't even think about it. That's the thing about language. Most people use it instinctively. They know when to shout, when to ask, when to command, when to declare. They simply do not usually think about how they're doing it. But some people do think about this stuff. Linguists, for example, they study how language works. Philosophers do that too. And logicians, we care about one particular use of language. Not shouting, not flirting, not ordering chocolate. We care about arguments. You remember arguments from our previous episodes? Conclusions and premises? So here's the kicker, my friends. Arguments are made up of statements, not commands, not questions, not exclamations, but declarative statements. All of those premises, they are statements. The conclusion, it has to be a statement. But right now, I have to go on a tangent. Stick with me. You have probably already noticed that when most people hear argument, they picture raised voices and slammed doors. But you already know from past episodes that that's not our kind of argument. In this office, an argument is something much colder, cleaner, more precise. Would you like me to give you a correct, formal definition of the term argument? Well, like it or not, I am going to, so suck it up and learn it, buddy. Here it is. An argument is a set of two or more statements, one of which is the conclusion, the rest of which are premises which the author intends as support for the conclusion. That's the definition. Write it down. Or, better yet, sear it into your brain. We are going to be spending a lot of time with it. But for now, we have got to slow down and take the definition apart, piece by piece. Why? You know why? Because that word statement is doing a lot of work here, and it has some explaining to do. Let's give it the third degree. What is a statement? We know that it is a sentence, but a very special kind of sentence. It's not an exclamation, a command, or a question. No, a statement is a sentence that asserts something that is either true or false. Let me explain it to you as it is explained in the Logic Detective's Handbook. A statement is a declarative sentence that has a truth value. Your detective senses probably just noted a new term here. Truth value. What it means here is just that the sentence is either true or it is false. That's it. No shades, no in between, no vibes. Either the world matches the sentence or it doesn't. Maybe it would help our investigation to look at some clean examples of statements so we can think about truth values. Here are a bunch of true statements. As logicians, we'd say that they all have the truth value of being true. The star at the center of our solar system is called the sun. Water is made of hydrogen and oxygen. 10 is an even number. 13 is greater than 10. If you mix blue and yellow paint, you get green. Again, these are all true. They all have the truth value of being true. Now let's go to the other side of town, where the falsehoods reside. Look at some. Hydrogen atoms are larger than gold atoms. 10 is an odd number. 4 plus 4 equals 10. North America is a continent on the moon. A cup of water would freeze inside the sun. These statements are all false. They have the truth value of being false. These are all clear cases, right? Perhaps you think I am pulling a fast one on you, only showing you clear cases. I can assure you, I have only your best interest in my heart. But I cannot lie. There are cases that are not so clear. Tricky cases. Statements that are either true or false, but we don't know which. They have truth values, but we just don't know what the truth values are. You say you want some examples. Sure, happy to oblige. If we ever invent full artificial general intelligence, it will wipe us out. There are no other intelligent beings in the universe. There are other intelligent beings in the universe. Goldbach's conjecture is correct. Each of those statements has a truth value. The universe may know what the truth values are, but we don't. We just haven't cracked the case yet. Now let's come back to our definition. Here it is again, in case your memory isn't working. An argument is a set of two or more statements, one of which is the conclusion, the rest of which are premises which the author intends as support for the conclusion. Maybe you remember this argument from before. All humans are mortal. Socrates is a human. Therefore, Socrates is mortal. So ask yourself, what's the conclusion here? It's that Socrates is mortal. And what are the other two statements? They are premises, evidence. So this fits our definition of argument, like my Logic Detective's Handbook fits in my pocket perfectly. But here's something that surprises rookies. Our definition says 2 or more statements, not 3. 2 or more. Why is that, you may ask? Because to have an argument, you need exactly 2 things, a conclusion and at least one premise supporting it. That's enough to make a case. You don't believe me? I like your skepticism, buddy. Keep it up. You will make Detective Inspector Logician soon at that rate. But consider this argument. No logical perps are people who understand logic. Therefore, no people who understand logic are logical perps. Only one premise here, am I right? and only one conclusion, of course. Wait, you do not like this example? Then see if you can swallow this. No dogs are cats. Therefore, no cats are dogs. Again, one premise, one conclusion. Not flashy, but it qualifies. It's an argument. It fits our definition. It is not the most thrilling argument in town, I concede. What argument with only one premise is going to get its name in lights at the Grand Theater downtown, next to Bogey and Bacall? Even so, it is an argument. I should probably tell you that arguments with only a single premise have a technical name. In the Logic Detective's Handbook, that is called an immediate inference. So are we done with our definition of the term argument yet? What? Are you going to give up before the case is solved? Hold on there, Speedy. I have one more twist for you. Our definition says something subtle. Most logic perps miss it. It says the author intends the premises to support the conclusion. That means something important. An argument isn't just a pile of statements. It involves a claim about support. When someone gives an argument, they are making what we call an inference claim. They are claiming, maybe out loud and explicitly for the whole world to hear, maybe quietly, so you have to look to see it. But they are claiming that this conclusion follows from these premises. That's what we're interested in. Not jokes, not insults, not poetry, not chocolate-based courtship rituals. Today, we have learned language can do all sorts of things. It can woo, it can confuse, it can inspire revolutions, it can sell you something you didn't need. But in this office, we care about one thing: language used to reason, language used to claim that something follows from something else. Language can be used to make arguments. That's our jurisdiction. That's formal logic, because logic ain't everything. But when someone says, this follows from that, that's when we step in, and that's when the real investigation begins. So remember, an argument is a set of two or more statements, one of which is the conclusion, the rest of which are premises which the author intends as support for the conclusion.